We gather together as the American Zionist movement in the spirit of a renewal of Zionism to not only honor the outgoing leadership and install the newly elected leadership. I am honored to accept this responsibility to serve as your president, and I look forward to working with each of you and each of the organizational members of the AZM as we strive together to establish a more and new unified path forward for Zionism in America, particularly in this time of increasing attacks upon our community and upon the good name of Israel, the good name of the Jewish people, the good name of Zionism. For those of you who saw the Jerusalem Post article that I was so privileged to have published, you may recall a quote that's very dear to me. I'm reminded so often of the last time I was with one of my grandmothers before she passed. And her words were very poignant. She said, "Remember that in the end of your days, all you take with you is your good name." When we apply that to the principles we all strive to accomplish, the good name of Israel, the good name of the Jewish people, and the good name of Zionism, we may all have worked hard, but we have not yet accomplished our mission. The celebrations of this coming year and the year after are numerous, but we have to think more than just about celebrating. Yes, 120 years ago in 1897, Theodor Herzl gathered the Zionist leadership together in Basel at the first Zionist Congress, and this year we will return with the World Zionist Organization to Basel in August at the Zionist Congress. Theodor Herzl said, and I quote, "At Basel, I founded the Jewish state. If I said this out loud today, I would be greeted by universal laughter. In 5 years, perhaps, and certainly in 50 years, everyone will perceive it. And here we are, remembering the words, 'If you will it, it is no dream.'" The theme of this assembly, so wisely dealing with Zionism and dreaming. All of us are dreamers or we wouldn't be here, but all of us are realists or we wouldn't be here. We know that 100 years ago, in 1917, the Balfour Declaration was issued by the British government, clearly stating, and I quote, "His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people," end quote. This declaration was subsequently adopted by the international community at the League of Nations and is its primary goal in establishing the British mandate for Palestine. And following the Shoah, 70 years ago, in 1947, the United Nations General Assembly fulfilled, if you will, Herzl's vision, passing Resolution 181, today remaining as controversial as it was thousands of years ago. This resolution, known as the Partition Resolution, calling for the re-establishment of a Jewish state in our ancient, indigenous, and ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. One would think that the welcoming of the Jewish people into the family of nations would have been such celebration, providing us with the opportunity to share our goodness, share our wisdom, share our belief in making a contribution to this being a better world. One would think that 70 years ago was a pinnacle, and from there we had climbed many mountains. Israel herself has indeed climbed those mountains. The accomplishments are too numerous to mention. All of us know what they are. But those who hate us, those who prefer to demonize us, they are today having a field day. It didn't just start yesterday or start with the Second Intifada, because a year after the Partition Resolution in 1948, when the State of Israel declared its independence as the nation state of the Jewish people, it proclaimed in the opening paragraph of Israel's Declaration of Independence, and I quote, Eretz Yisrael was the birthplace of the Jewish people. Here their spiritual, religious, and political identity was shaped. Here they first attained to statehood, created cultural values of national and universal significance, and gave to us the world, the eternal book of books, end quote. But while the United States of America and other countries indeed recognized Israel's admission into the family of nations, we all here know that Israel's Arab neighbors rejected the hand of peace she extended, and Israel endured and continues to endure not only a war of independence, but a war for our good name. We have lost precious lives, many of whom narrowly escaped the Nazi gas chambers. Just 50 years ago, in 1967, Israel faced another war upon her sovereignty and another attempt at annihilation. She secured one of the most stunning victories in modern warfare when in 6 days, against 5 Arab country armies, again seeking to extinguish the state of the Jewish people. The 6-day war, we will remember, for those of us who were old enough, that it brought about a reunification of the Jewish people, a spirit of pride, not because of defeat, but a spirit of pride because of success in having the world recognize that we had fought from the sands, that we had fought with our hands, that we had fought with our hearts, and that we had fought because we believe that the Jewish people indeed have the right to be in the land of Israel. And we returned in 1967, after so many years, to Jerusalem as a unified city, the home of historic and biblical heartland of the Jewish people, the home of treasures, the home of the focus and dreams of the Jewish people for thousands of years. Indeed, this year, in coordination with the World Zionist Organization and under the banner of L'chaim Yerushalayim, we celebrate 50 years of the unity of Jerusalem, Zion, the center of the Jewish world, the place where our hopes, our tears, our joy were centered for countless generations, reestablished as the capital of Israel, but not yet reestablished as the capital of capitals of the world. The only nation in the family of nations not permitted to declare its own capital is the state of Israel. The only nation not permitted to sit on the Security Council of the United Nations is the state of Israel. The only nation which is the subject of so many United Nations resolutions of condemnation, more than all other nations in the world, is the state of Israel. And yet we still come here in pride and commitment, knowing that so much of the world refuses to accept our legitimacy, our legal right to exist, and blames us for all ills. It was indeed in the land of milk and honey. Remember that phrase? We were viewed as the people of the book. Remember that phrase? Where have they gone? We have built the state of Israel to great technological, scientific, cultural, democratic, and human achievements. Our nation's contributions in chemistry, literature, peace, economics have been rewarded with Nobel Prizes, and there is no other democracy in the Middle East like the State of Israel, and few other democracies in the world like the State of Israel. The advancements in medicine, shared, appreciated, respected, and needed around the world, have helped those suffering from autism, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and other infirmities. Israel has fueled the innovation age by introducing the world to the CPU, the central processing unit, the flash drive, and technology that exists and takes off every single day. Today, no one in the world who has access to a computer or a smartphone does not utilize Israeli technology throughout the day, but our enemies do not want to hear that. Our enemies only want to call us a criminal, oppressive, occupying state. In Israel's enduring quest to provide safety and comfort for our people, her people, Israel has indeed necessarily created an arsenal of military defense systems for one purpose, not to attack, but to preserve life in the face of those who seek to destroy life. Many nations, including our own, are indebted to the defensive and intelligent innovation of the Israeli people. And Israel is the first to send aid and advanced medical teams to every corner of the globe, at least every corner of the globe that will have her. Because do you remember after the tsunami, when country after country said, "Turn your planes back, you cannot land in our country"? And the response was, "But we are coming with aid. We are coming with love. We are coming with health care. We are coming with tents. We are coming to help rebuild." And the answer was, "Go home." Israel is by many indices a financial and economic success, committed to the betterment of life for all people. However, as you can see from each of the points I've tried to make thus far, the reestablishment of Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people has barely known peace. Time and time again, she is forced to respond to the demonization and the subversive and overt attempts, both subversive and overt attempts to destroy her vibrancy, her passion, her commitment to good, and her dedication to peace and security for all people in the region. It continues to be rejected in the family of nations by too many countries who prefer to say no rather than thank you. Israel's enemies have targeted her economy with a series of initiated boycotts, initiated by the Arab League and now continued through the BDS movement, aimed at financially crippling the Jewish state. Whether it has been successful or not is not the issue. The issue is that the Jewish people are entitled to have a nation state in our ancient homeland. We deserve respect, and instead we are maligned. And we, the American Zionist movement, have our work cut out for us to restore the good name of Israel, restore the good name of the Jewish people, restore the good name of Zionism. Let us raise the flag that Israel, as a full member of nations, is not just a country with high income, because Israel has people who are poor and they need to be better taken care of. Israel has survivors who have not been given the proper due, have not been given the proper support, and they need to be taken care of. Israel has Arab citizens and other citizens who are minorities who deserve full respect and who deserve full equality as if they lived here in the United States, because Israel is indeed a microcosm of the diversity we find here in the United States. And we are not a perfect nation here in the United States either. It's not measured by economic success. Let it be measured by our commitment to the betterment of life for all people. Because today, the countries who have agreed to begin to work with Israel are doing so notwithstanding the boycott. They are doing so because they are beginning to see the goodness in spite of the fact that there are dictators, there are haters who oppress people out of their own self-interest in their countries, and they need someone to blame, and the easy blame has always been the Jewish person, because the anti-Semite, the anti-Israeli, the anti-Zionist comes out all too often, sometimes camouflaged and sometimes overt. People are entitled to their own views. Each of you are entitled to your own views. Each of your organizations are entitled to your own views and beliefs. Our job here is to focus in on our mission through the American Zionist movement, to stand together, to stand against the enemies who prefer to attack, who prefer to commit hijackings and terrorism, who prefer to murder Israeli athletes at the Olympic Games and to seek to assassinate. The assault has continued unabated for too long, and Israel and her people, our people, have suffered, and now it is time for us to work together, because over these past decades, our enemies have moved into significant positions in the United Nations, in positions all over the world, and they prefer to politically internationalize the conflict in order to make it a worse day rather than a better day. But the front lines of the battle, we can say, are going to be behind us for the American Zionist movement. Because the proud vision of Zionism, the good name of Israel and the Jewish people, no matter how it has been largely viewed today, we embark upon a new opportunity. We don't have all the answers in this room. We know that there are significant problems. Can we work together? We will work together. We will work together to put down anti-Semitism not only at home but around the world, because it is rampant. We will work together to educate our young people who are intimidated and threatened. We will work together to provide speakers who will help to educate and help people understand. We will work together to support Israeli businesses who are producing products that are approved and are entitled to be distributed around the world and sold because they are products of quality. We will work together at the United Nations with ambassadors and diplomats, and we will work together in the court of public opinion to see to it that those who view us as a criminal state will understand our goodness, will understand that the future is a future that will be built more positively when all people from all walks of life, no matter where they may live, will indeed walk together as we will walk together. We will speak together and work together and hopefully be on the same page as we strive to restore the good name of Zionism, the good name of the State of Israel. Because in our time, we are unlikely to repair all the difficult challenges in this world. But to paraphrase a most famous saying, neither are we free to desist from the effort. So let me turn to the future. Indeed, let us together move Zionism forward. The theme Zionism Forward is my vision as your AZM president. It is not about redefining Zionism. It is about re-energizing Zionism. We must return to the basics of Zionism, that which unites us all in this hall here today, and make it relevant to our families, our communities, our synagogues, our schools, and beyond. First, we need to reclaim the spark which drove a few visionaries to achieve the impossible and win the acclaim and support of the international community and the sympathy of the world. The AZM Constitution lists as our purpose, first, to, quote, motivate American Jews to accept the Zionist principles that the Jews the world over are one people, united by a common history, heritage, and destiny, with Israel at the center of Jewish life everywhere. We must work together to teach our proud history to our next generation, and to train leaders, teachers, and families to understand our rich history, to take pride in our rich contributions to the world and to humanity, to applaud and support our democratic way of life, and to coalesce around those values we hold so dear. The study of the lessons of Jewish teachings and heritage and traditions, the love and respect of life and of each human being from all walks of life, children, men, women, and the dignity of all beings. I call upon each of you and your organizations that you lead, consisting of perhaps how many people? Somebody said to me more than 1 million. I don't know if it's so. But I ask you to, from this assembly, rise up as leaders in your community, in your way and through your leadership, to join with the new officers, join with the new cabinet and board, to work together hand in hand in the spirit of unity, solidarity, and pride, to accept the task of, again, rebuilding the good name of Israel, the good name of the Jewish people, and the good name of Zionism. Our children must feel pride to wave the Israeli flag. Our children must feel pride on their college campuses. They must not shirk to the walls, walk around, hide. We must equip them with the knowledge and confidence to defend Israel's honor in the face of slander. While the Islamic Republic of Iran may fantasize over a world without Zionism and threaten the annihilation of Israel, day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year, it has been suggested to me that instead of a world without Zionism, we, the American Zionist movement, must strive for a world with Zionism, an ideology and cause to be celebrated. A conference by that name, highlighting all the good that Israel and Zionism have contributed to the world, is indeed worthy of our consideration and our support. And we must improve the dialogue here in America and participate in a new effort to guide the American Jewish community to speak in a unified voice of support for Israel. When we look back over the past decade, the divisiveness in the United States, whether it's for political reasons or for anti-Semitic reasons or for gain of personal agendas, the fact of the matter is the unity of the Jewish people on the singular subject of Israel was never before a question. It was indeed politically sacrosanct. And whether one is Democrat, Republican, or belongs to another party is not the subject here. The subject here is there can no longer be allowed to be viewed by the whole world that we, the Jewish people, are so divided in the United States that we do not stand with Israel, because our failure to stand with Israel is a failure for all of the Jewish people. Zionism Forward, accordingly, is our plan to take back that which is dear to us. We must anchor ourselves in the past as we look to the future. I've used the phrase I'm about to use before. Some of you may remember it. Let us together build upon the proud tradition of the Jewish people. And let us do so with a vision for the future, a vision embodied in Zionism Forward. Thank you for this honor, privilege, and opportunity to make a difference in our time.